The galaxy was vast, filled with countless civilizations, each with its own strange customs, mysterious technologies, and unspoken rules. But in the heart of this swirling cosmos, no one had ever been quite like the humans. Their unpredictability, their defiance, and above all, their capacity for sheer willpower left even the most advanced species shaking their heads in disbelief. For centuries, the Xarnas, the alien race known for their unparalleled intelligence and logic, had observed humanity from afar. The Xarnats prided themselves on their ability to understand any species they encountered. Their advanced technology and superior knowledge of the universe had allowed them to build vast empires and influence countless worlds. But the humans were different. They were an enigma. The Xarnats had watched Earth's rise and fall, wars, destruction, innovation, peace, and chaos. They had studied every aspect of human behavior, cataloging their strengths and weaknesses. But no matter how many reports were compiled, no matter how much data was analyzed, they could not predict what humans would do next, and that uncertainty made them dangerous. Among the Xarnats, there was one scientist, Dr. Virok, who was more fascinated by humans than any other member of his race. He spent decades researching Earth, trying to comprehend what made humans tick. Despite the overwhelming data, he felt he was missing something, an intangible quality that couldn't be quantified by logic alone. One day, a new mission came through from the Xarnath High Council. The humans had discovered a new form of energy, one that could potentially disrupt the balance of power in the galaxy. The Xarnaths decided it was time to intervene. They sent an emissary to Earth, a being who would be the perfect instrument of control, Virok himself. As Virok entered Earth's atmosphere aboard his sleek, silent starship, he was calm, collected, and confident in his mission. He had studied humanity for years, and he was certain he knew exactly how to approach them. He was ready to negotiate, ready to offer them an alliance in exchange for control over the new energy. There would be no resistance. The humans would see reason. But when Virok met the humans on their world, he was stunned. Standing in front of him was a man, no different from any other human. His clothes were simple. His posture spoke of weariness. But when their eyes locked, Virok felt something shift within him. This human wasn't afraid, nor was he impressed by Virok's superior alien intellect or technology. The man, whose name was John Carter, was no diplomat or leader. He was a farmer, an ordinary man who had never known peace, much less the intricacies of intergalactic politics. Yet in the presence of the mighty Xarnat scientist, he spoke without fear, his voice steady and unwavering. "You're not here to help us," John said plainly. "You're here to control us." Virok, taken aback, tried to reason with him. "You misunderstand. The Xarnats offer you a future. We seek only the energy you have discovered. It is for the greater good." John shook his head, his eyes never leaving Virok's. "You don't get it, do you? The future of humanity isn't something you can control. We don't bend to threats. We don't fear you." Virok's mind raced. The human seemed unshaken, as if he had seen it all before. But Virok had seen countless species react to the Xarnats' advanced technology. No one, no race, had ever resisted them in such a way. Humans were supposed to be weak, primitive. Yet here was one standing before him, not only defying him, but challenging his very understanding of life. John continued, his voice growing louder, more passionate. "The galaxy may be full of species who bend to power and logic, but not us, not humans. We're built on the idea that every individual has a choice, that we can fight against the odds, that even when all seems lost, we rise up." Virok's thoughts were in turmoil. His race was built on order, on the principle that knowledge and power were everything. But here stood a human, one who believed in something entirely different. It wasn't knowledge or power that drove them. It was something far more unpredictable, far more dangerous, their will. As the conversation went on, Virok began to understand. The humans were not the unorganized, primitive creatures the Xarnats had assumed them to be. They were something far greater. They were a race driven by an unyielding spirit, one that could not be quantified, could not be controlled. The energy they had discovered was not just a physical resource, it was a metaphor for humanity itself. Uncontainable, untamable, and always evolving. Virok realized that in trying to understand humanity, he had been looking at the wrong things. He had been studying their actions, their patterns, their wars, and their peace. But the true essence of humanity, the one thing no other species had, was their boundless capacity for change and rebellion. No force, no empire, no logic could stop them once they made up their minds. "Why do you resist?" Virok finally asked, his voice laced with confusion. "What do you hope to gain by defying the inevitable?" John's smile was faint, if full of something Virok couldn't quite place. "Because in the end, we know that no matter what the universe throws at us, we always have the choice to stand up and say no." Virok's mind reeled. This was the answer. The Xarnats were blind to the true power of humanity because they had always seen power as something external, something to be controlled and calculated. But humanity held their power within, in their very spirit. In the end, the Xarnats left Earth, not with the energy they sought, but with a deep respect for the species they had once underestimated. Virok, once the most knowledgeable being in the galaxy, now found himself humbled by the very creatures he had sought to control. And as he left, he understood one thing above all. Humans did not need to understand the universe. They had already understood the one thing that mattered most, their own strength.